Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be taking a really fascinating look at how a massive industrial giant completely flipped the script. We're talking about a pivot from a notoriously polluted past straight into a cutting-edge electric present. We're going inside China's EV boom to figure out exactly how they pulled off this massive shift, and honestly, what it means for the rest of us. Okay, let's dive into this. If you had visited a city like Guangzhou a while back, well, it was known as China's industrial heartland. Famously polluted skies, that deafening, stressful roar of rush hour traffic. But today, it's a totally different world. The streets have transformed into this endless sea of green license plates, and that roar has been replaced by a really gentle hum. See, in China, a green plate specifically tells you that a car is an EV. And while most of the world is still looking at EVs as the future of driving, for China, that future has quite literally already arrived.
Section 1. Survival of the Fittest.
So let's look at the origins of this boom and how it really gained momentum. The main spark for this incredibly rapid transformation, massive across-the-board government intervention. Basically, if you were involved in the ecosystem, you got financial help. Whether you're a consumer buying the car, a manufacturer building it, a utility company providing the power, or a factory assembling the battery packs, boom, there was a subsidy for it. This absolute fire hose of funding set off this hyper-competitive frenzy of, frankly, Silicon Valley-style startups popping up all over the country. It was an incredibly brutal environment, and truly only the absolute fittest made it out alive.
And XPeng is a textbook example of one of those survivors. Get this, they are barely a decade old, yet they're already sitting in the top 10 EV producers worldwide. Crazy, right? And the way they sell these things is so modern. Down in Guangzhou, they actually use internet live streamers to actively pitch and sell cars to viewers in real time. It's kind of like a hyper-modern QVC, but instead of jewelry, you're buying a high-tech, next-generation automobile.
Section 2. Luxury Tech, Mainstream Prices.
Let's step inside an XPeng model, something like the Mona, and see what young, first-time buyers are actually getting their hands on. We are talking about a massive 15.6-inch interactive screen, an 18-speaker sound system, which by the way comes entirely as a standard feature, and heated, ventilated seats. They call these modcons, short for modern conveniences, which in the West are usually reserved for super high-end, expensive luxury models. Young Chinese buyers are totally flipping the market on its head. I mean, sure, their parents might have bought Western car brands just for the social status, but today's young drivers, they are all about prioritizing this incredible domestic, high-tech comfort.
And the tech goes way beyond just physical comfort. These cars are packed with advanced voice activation, inbuilt video streaming for when you're parked, and genuinely impressive autonomous capabilities. Just to give you a real-world sense of this, during a test drive of a pre-market XPeng model by the BBC, the self-driving technology literally completely stopped the car all by itself. The driver's foot wasn't even close to the brake pedal. Why did it stop? Well, the group of drivers up ahead were recklessly driving the wrong way down a highway just to make a quick U-turn. The car instantly spotted the danger and safely brought everything to a halt.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is $20,000. Yep, 20 grand. That is the shockingly low market price for a vehicle absolutely loaded to the brim with all those luxury features and that life-saving autonomous tech we just talked about. It's wild. After a solid quarter of a century of rapid industrial growth, China has basically managed to make luxury completely mainstream.
Naturally, after surviving that absolute bloodbath of domestic competition to get to this point, these companies are looking outward. XPeng recently launched in the UK and across Europe, and they're seeing some tremendous interest. This really matters to consumers everywhere because these brands are actively shattering those old stigmas that used to stick to Chinese products. They are proving, directly to Western customers, that China can absolutely produce exceptionally high-quality, high-tech vehicles that are, quite frankly, going to be rolling into markets everywhere very soon.
Section 3. The 3-minute battery swap.
Over in Shanghai, another EV startup called NIO is tackling one of the biggest hurdles in EV adoption. And this brilliantly illustrates how they are completely eliminating range anxiety. Instead of sitting around waiting an hour to charge, you just do a battery swap. It's like a pit stop. First, you set your destination to a swapping station on the map, and the system automatically reserves a battery and a time slot for you before you're even close. When you pull up, you actually just take your hands off the wheel. The car uses this advanced steer-by-wire tech to auto-park you perfectly into the bay. Then, automated machinery literally unbolts your dead battery, takes the load off the suspension, and pops in a fully charged one. The whole state-of-the-art process takes 3 minutes. 3 minutes! And the best part? It costs less than filling up a tank of gas.
Section 4. The Global Pushback. Zooming out to the global macro level for a second, we can really see the massive scale of this ambition. Because of this incredible technological leap, there's a very bold sentiment echoing within China's EV industry right now. They're looking around at the global market and essentially saying, can anybody do it better than us? Yeah, we're going to pretty much build every car in the world. That is a game-changing level of confidence, wouldn't you say?
Now, this sudden EV boom creates two very different realities on the global stage. On one hand, having a rapid, affordable, and massive rollout of electric vehicles is fantastic news if we actually want to hit those urgent global climate targets. But if we look at the other side of the ledger, the political and economic stakes are incredibly high. The sheer speed and dominance of these vehicles have triggered some serious real-world economic anxieties abroad.
So, instead of throwing Beijing a parade for aggressively advancing green tech, Western countries are deeply worried about the survival of their own domestic auto industries. As a defensive measure, they're slapping pretty heavy tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. Honestly, it's a scramble. Western automakers are absolutely desperate to catch up in a green tech race where China has, undeniably, already rewritten all the rules of the game.
Which leaves us with a highly complex situation to wrap up our explainer today. With these defensive tariffs firmly in place, can the West actually catch up in the green tech race? Or has the global automotive landscape permanently shifted? It's a fascinating standoff with some truly massive global implications. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that vital question until next time.